Ciao a tutti, benvenuti ad un'altra puntata di Russia con piacere. Noi siamo Marco e Maria e stiamo facendo un viaggio sulla linea transiberiana lungo tutta la Russia, da Mosca a Vladivostok. Siamo alla ricerca dei gusti, delle tradizioni e dei sapori locali russi. Oggi siamo a Kazan. Kazan è la capitale del Tatarstan. Tatarstan è la prima repubblica a sud-est di Mosca prima di arrivare agli Urali. Le persone che vivono a Kazan ci hanno raccontato che Kazan è considerata la capitale del cibo in Russia. E quindi abbiamo scoperto nella puntata precedente, potete andarlo a vedere, Kazylik, quindi questa salsiccia, questi salumi di cavallo fatto da Li e i suoi figli, e oggi andiamo a scoprire il chak-chak. Cos'è il chak-chak? Ce lo spiegherà Alina nel suo museo. Andiamo! Ready to go to Chak-Chak?
Yeah.
We are going to museum of Chak-Chak. We just wait 5 minutes that somebody will come.
They drink just tea, not coffee, like in Moscow.
No, let's go.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to museum.
Let's
go.
Quindi, cos'è il Chak-Chak? Adesso andiamo da Alina. Alina ci accoglierà nel museo. Alina è la direttrice di questo museo del Chak-Chak. Ci accoglierà come se fosse casa sua e ci spiegherà che cos'è il Chak-Chak, come è fatto, perché viene utilizzato, da dove viene e quali sono gli ingredienti, come si usa e perché c'è questo Chak-Chak. Il Chak-Chak, giusto per spiegare, è una cosa molto simile agli struffoli napoletani, anzi direi che è praticamente uguale agli struffoli napoletani. Probabilmente tutti e due arrivano dal Medio Oriente o dal Lontano Oriente, comunque sono stati portati con le migrazioni e con i movimenti dei popoli che ci sono nel mondo. Quindi andiamo da Alina e scopriremo tutto per il Chak-Chak. Super, so this is Chak-Chak.
Yep. And the rest? Can you guess?
Wait. It's not that.
No. Yes, pastila. Yeah.
This is pastila.
Tatar traditional pastila. So I hope you're familiar with Chak-Chak. So you
Yeah, we
also
tried,
heard
yeah.
its history. Baursak, it's a bit bigger than Chak-Chak.
This,
So
I don't know.
Baursak.
Baursak.
Actually, it's father of Chak-Chak. So Baursak came to be alive a lot earlier than Chak-Chak. So it's first form of Chak-Chak, I would say.
And so is the same ingredients or just bigger?
Yeah, Baursak contains flour and eggs in its dough. It might be baked, it might be fried. Usually it's fried, but the syrup is a bit different. While in Chak-Chak we use 1 part of honey to 1 part of sugar, in Baursak we use 2 parts of sugar to 1 part of honey. So it's more sweet and more nutritious and much worse for your figure.
Depending which figure you like.
Yeah. So Tatar people, like Turkic people in general, created Baursak first because it's easy to grab some, like a snack to your road. It can store up to 3 months. And also when they used to have big celebrations, you just cover up with some syrup and voila, you have wonderful dish. And only after thousands of years, pieces of this Baursak and Chak-Chak came to be smaller and smaller, and voila, we have Chak-Chak right now. But actually this Chak-Chak that you see on your plate, it's traditional Kazan Chak-Chak. The place where I am from, it's also Tatarstan, but small village at the border of Tatarstan. It's called Aktanish. We have completely different Chak-Chak.
Wow.
Our one.
This is interesting. Every village.
Like every region,
area,
yeah. So one piece of Chak-Chak, one noodle of Chak-Chak is of this size, like my thumb, not like this small noodles. And also when we go to the south of Tatarstan, which is Almetyevsk and Bugulma, they have chak-chak of this form. It's circular, yeah, and they call it tush.
Tush.
Yeah.
In Tatarian language, you have this sound, because in Russia I don't think there's u.
No.
In Tatar, you have this
Yeah.
sound.
We have additional 6 letters and 6 sounds.
Oh, come on, additional letter to Cyrillic. It's already-
U, J, Ng. Pretty easy to pronounce, except one letter, which is Ng. Ng.
No,
Ng.
no.
Almost.
А какое слово, например?
Among.
Mom.
Или Yangır, which is rain. Mong, it's something that I can't translate, not because I don't know word, because there is no word in English and Russian both for this word. So mong, it is a feeling that Tatar people have when they go home to their homelands. It's something sad, but also something really pleasant
It's
feeling.
happiness of sad.
Yeah, that's.
It's saudade, yeah. In Portuguese,
So?
in Brazil, they have saudade.
I'm so glad that you understand me in this
Yeah.
way. Now we have to talk about this wonderful fruit
Yeah,
leather.
pastilla.
But Tata people use only fruit puree or berry puree. We don't even clean the puree. We still have the seeds. See, it's a bit
you
rough.
Mix everything?
Yeah, and then we just dry it. No sugar, no honey, just basic dried fruit puree.
But which fruit is klukva, vishnya?
This is actually strawberry.
Ah,
Yeah, you can try it. It's wonderful.
mhm.
I can pour you some tea.
Tea? And this is with tea.
In Tatarstan, we like to drink herbal tea. This one is black tea mixed with thyme. Чабрец. A lot of people ask why we have this type of cups with some
Yeah, it's
handles.
interesting design.
Yeah.
also.
Actually, design itself, the decoration, it is copied from dishes of 13th or 14th century. People ask why our cups have handles, because traditionally we didn't have any. It
Yeah,
was just
really?
pialas, like
Ah,
without this,
like
to hold it. But only best guests, like beloved guests, used to have these cups with handles because they were super expensive back then.
Ah,
In Tatar, we call them shinayak. Shin, it's translated like Chinese, and ayak is simply like pasuda, cups and plates, everything. So it's a Chinese.
Chinese cup.
Yeah, Chinese cup. Now we have this last fruit leather. It's a bit different. It has almond on it. And this fruit leather is made of klukva. It has to be sour, that's the point. And almond is also covered with sugar and honey syrup. It's actually elite version of chak-chak. It is called koktush. Kok in Tatar language means fruit leather, so pastilla. Tush is different nuts. Almond also is tush. So it's basically just fruit leather with nut, koktush. Why it's elite version? Nuts back then, especially almond, was super expensive, but you have to buy whole mountain of them just to shock your guests.
Yeah.
To eat it properly, you have to wrap it in your fruit leather
Very sure.
and eat it together. The point of this dish is that you have sour and sweet flavor at the same time.
It's, really, I mean, it's like to eat 10 strawberries.
Just 1 second. Which is of this size. Yeah. Clocks. So this size. We need for about half of 1 kilogram strawberries, so it's quite a lot.
This,
Yep, just
really
for 1
millimeter.
Yeah, concentrated flavor of strawberry. Now you can try bowersak. Just
I
like,
don't put, like
no,
thing.
just as donut. You just eat it like this.
It's like this.
It is super fluffy.
Wow. Yeah, it's a huge chak-chak. There is a technique to eat chak-chak.
Just with your hands, no forks and
And
knives.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That's the point. Some legends say that it was created 1,000 years ago. Some say that it was created 2,000 years ago, and we also have one legend that says that it was created 5,000 years ago.
Wow.
But it's also connected to our religion. We used to be heathens, язычники. Everyone was paganist before, and there we had one goddess whose name was Chak-Chak.
Yeah.
But not dedicated to food, not at all. It is dedicated to rasa.
This is water on the when you wake up on the grass.
So it's just small pieces of water, like drops of water. And in Tatar we have word for this, for rasa. It sounds like shak or shak. But later we had legend that it was huge celebration of wedding, of Han's wedding, and people had to create some wonderful dish, something very cheap, something that you can do fast, and also very sweet. And one poor girl created this thing, so it's just pieces of dough, fried, just to be nutritious, and just covered up with honey and sugar syrup. It's quite simple to make, especially when you have army of girls who can cook it. And Han and his guests liked this dish very much, and they started chewing it with specific sound. In Russian it sounds like chafk chafk. So like, yeah. But actually the most traditional version, why it's called chak chak, is because in Tatar language, or in Turkic language in general, we have a word that sounds like shak shak. It means a little bit, just a small piece of shak shak, shek shek. Shak shak, shek shek, oshishim kila.
Da, договорились.
Yeah, it actually translates like I would like to eat some chak chak. That's it.
Wow. And when you opened this museum?
So this museum was opened in the year 2014, but they like created the conception of it in the year 2012. So 2012. First we didn't.
Next year will be 10 years.
Yeah. Thanks God. First, we didn't have this building. We were situated in Tatar settlement there at the Lake Kaban, but we had problems with Mullah. He had building that he couldn't sell to other people, couldn't give as a rent. He couldn't have any money from this building, but he did. After a year or something, we have to move to this wonderful building. This house actually quite old, 200 years old, not that much. It is actually a merchant house. It was built in the year like 30s or 40s of 19th century. 19th century. And after that it was sold to peasants. It was during Soviet times or later. And at the end of 20th century, which was actually not that long ago, this house survived some burns. You have to come here during spring, during March. A lot of people have tradition to wash their house, all the walls and the ceiling and floors, and it's wonderful smell actually. Because when they come to this museum, they understand that it's not only about chak chak, it's all about traditions and weddings and everything about Tatar. But the chak chak, it is, thing that can connect everything in culture. So through chak chak we can explain traditions, we can explain celebrations, different celebrations, we can even explain religion. As I told you before, our goddess who was named Chak Chak. And also through Chak Chak we can explain our main profession, being merchants.
And I want to ask you, because we saw a lot of this jewelry.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
This traditional jewelry, it is called chulpa.
Chulpa?
Yeah. This is a small one, actually. They were a lot bigger. Yeah. Probably you were at the market yesterday, so they have this amount of chulpas. Tatar girls used to decorate themselves with a lot of jewelry. So what I wear now is just a small piece of it. We had a lot of bracelets, up to 10 on one hand, and also necklaces and earrings. I don't wear earrings because these ones were given by my father. I will wear them till the end of my life. And also we wear a lot of like chulpas, the thing that we put on our braids. It actually has a point, because Tatar girl is heard before, and only after that you see Tatar girl. So you hear her coming before. And this sound, like coins, it prevents you from different bad gods, bad demons. So it's protection.
So it's similar what you put in the wind, the same concept.
Yeah.
Ok, abbiamo scoperto cosa è questo chak chak e quando si usa. Adesso Alina ci mostrerà i vestiti tradizionali del Tatarstan, di Kazan, cappelli, gioielli, gli elementi di questi gioielli, perché si usano determinate pietre e perché ci sono le monete, ad esempio, all'interno di questi gioielli, cosa significano e quando le donne le utilizzavano. Andiamo con Alina.
And see that traditional hats and different decorations. This huge one, is called kalfak. It's like a hat. And in Russian we have word kalpak, which is head that stands like this on your head. But the word kalpak in Russian came from Tatar kalfak. Kalfak is traditionally worn by Tatar women. Huge ones are worn by, older ones, elder generation. You just place it on your head and do this thing. So you're wonderful, and everyone can see your handmade embroidery with using beads. Oh, it was more expensive back then to use beads, also like this. But if you're too shy, you can place it like this. Also, kalfaks can be a bit smaller, but for younger girls, like for teens. So you just place it, and it is secured by these hooks. Yep, small. And also to the back.
So this is
to the
means
right.
you are not married and this you are married.
Yeah. Traditional tubete, it is male hats. So you just place it on the back of your head. It has to be high and decorated by embroidery like this all around the tubete, and it has to be circular. And also we had small kalfaks for small girls, but it's at the end of 19th century. We had a fashion out of France for small hats. We didn't have like hats, but we changed them to small kalfaks. As a result, even women of big age used to wear this. So second decoration is izu. It is worn like this, on your chest. And each stone, each bead, and each coin on the izu means something about your character. So you can embroider this thing starting from your childhood. For example, this means that you are lucky, and this means that you are kind. Just for example, it's not about that. And your future husband, by only seeing at your izu, might read you, might understand who you are. Yeah. And this decoration, I call it grandmother of choker. It is called Yaqa Shulbura. Yaqa is this place here, and Shulbur is chains. Pretty easy. So Yaqa Shulbura. No, it's here. Yep. It traditionally might have 5 chains or just 3 chains, but it has to be uneven number. It can be like this, like mobile one, and you can just put it on your dress. And this is actually big chulpa.
But this is a coin?
Not authentic one, but it's coin.
Moneta ruble.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really heavy.
Yeah. And you've noticed this thing is called hasita. It's only worn during your wedding or another different important celebrations as funeral or Sabantui. Sabantui is Turkic traditional celebration, the end of field works. So when you planted everything, when everything is clean and great and watered, you can have a celebration.
Perfetto, dopo aver scoperto i vestiti, dopo aver scoperto il cibo, dopo aver mangiato e parlato tanto, abbiamo bisogno di bere qualcosa. Quindi Alina ci porterà nel bar del museo, dove ci mostrerà i tè tradizionali, il tè, meglio chiamarli infusi o tisane tradizionali tatare. Loro usano tanto le erbe tradizionali che si trovano in giro, nei boschi, nelle foreste, nei prati. A me piace molto, ad esempio, l'abete affumicato, è un sapore che mi piace tantissimo nel tè, e viene utilizzato in qualsiasi momento della giornata. Quindi i tartari, come in generale i russi, bevono molto più tè, e lo bevono non nelle bustine come noi italiani, ma lo bevono proprio da foglie essiccate ed erbe essiccate. Andiamo con Alina a scoprire poi cosa dobbiamo bere.
So this is our small tea drinking place, like cafe. As I told you, Tatar people are very into drinking teas, but we only like drinking herbal teas, and it's different recipes for herbal ones. Here we have three, four, five, 6 recipes of our Tatarstan, and they come from different regions. So you can just pick any tea that you'd like to. As far as you can see, the most beloved teas are Urman. It is translated like forest tea. It has different herbs, and probably I don't know names of half of them. The ones that you are familiar with is Dushica, which is oregano, and Vishnya, like cherry, linden, mint. Zveroboy is yellow oregano, Tatarstan rose, chamomile, wild raspberry, and smaragd blackberry. Yeah, right. And also my favorite tea, it's called Hvoyny, which means pine tea or Christmas tree tea. Yes, needles of Christmas tree. And also we have Smaragd, the one that was here, and like lemon zest, but we added while we cook this tea.
We have the most important question at the end. So the first is the feeling of Chak Chak for you.
For me, it is home, just home. Because when I was small, my granny used to cook Chak Chak. Actually, it was one horrible smell in the kitchen because you have frying oil. It was disgusting, but it was super warm and cozy feeling when you sit in the kitchen and talk to your granny how it's made and what it's made of. So you find all the traditions through Chak Chak by your granny. So it's actually very great.
What does it mean for you, pleasure in food?
Oh, I guess I have pleasure in food because it all starts with cooking process. I have pleasure when I cook Chak Chak, or not only Chak Chak but all traditional cuisine or general cooking process. It starts from there, like from scratch. And also you have pleasure when you give your dish to your guests, that they also have like a wonderful feeling when they eat something traditional and something tasty. And also you have wonderful feelings when you eat Chak Chak or any other Tata traditional dish. It is super nutritious and tasty, and also it has a high level of fat. It makes it a lot tastier. So I guess Tata people are happy because they have a lot of nice food in their cuisine.
I need to eat one.
Yeah, of course you can eat it. We had some funny situation in my life when I would like to present my husband to my relatives. We came to my hometown, Aktanysh, and in Aktanysh we don't have any Russian language. Everyone speaks Tatar, just 100% Tatar people. And
But
my
they
husband...
don't know Russian?
Yeah, they know Russian, but they don't
Okay,
use it
yeah,
because they
sure.
don't need it. And my husband is actually Russian. He didn't know Tatar before, but now he's actually good at it. And my granny cooked a lot of traditional dishes. And when you sit on the table full of dishes, you have to eat everything.
Yeah, I know.
So you can't leave the table without trying at least one dish. It'll be bad luck for you. It means that you don't respect hosts of this house. And my husband ate everything, didn't say a word. And after that he was like, oh, it's Tata traditional torture, like giving a lot of food. And I mean, no, it's just small part of what we have here.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
No, grazie Alina, grazie infinite per averci accolto a casa tua, accolto nel tuo museo, per averci spiegato tutti quei segreti, tutte le tradizioni tatare. Ne abbiamo goduto molto, abbiamo goduto della pastilla, di questa pastilla rotolata all'interno delle mandorle che è buonissima. Adesso andiamo per la prossima tappa, andiamo verso gli Urali, verso le montagne, ci avviciniamo al confine asiatico della Russia. Abbiamo finito 2 interviste a Kazan, abbiamo finito in questa città e continuiamo a muoverci verso est. Quindi riprendiamo il treno, riprendiamo la Transiberiana e andiamo verso gli Urali, verso il confine asiatico della Russia. Andremo a Mali Tuish, un piccolo villaggio, non so, ci vivranno 20-30 persone in questo villaggio, dove Güzel sta ricostruendo la società attraverso il lavoro di bacche, di funghi, di miele, attraverso il lavoro di tutti gli abitanti di questo villaggio, cerca di ricostruire la cultura e l'organizzazione della vita di questo villaggio. Quindi grazie per aver seguito questa puntata, ci vediamo alla prossima e continuiamo il nostro viaggio sulla Transiberiana. Buon viaggio, ciao ciao, buon appetito anche!